Trystie's Quest, or Kit, King of the Pigwidgeons. By Greville MacDonald. Chapter 3. Jonas is very kind, his belief in fairies, the great secret, mind they Pigwidgeons, Master Kit. It was only bit by bit that the boy wormed the wonderful secret out of Jonas. I think the old man perhaps only half believed it was true, and so was unwilling to tell it. He was a funny mixture, full of the strangest out-of-the-way wisdom, talking of his sheep as though they had human feelings, as indeed they have to a wonderful degree, full of bird lore and natural history of all kinds, and yet, with his old saws of worldly shrewdness he would cut in pieces the children's castles in the air, if he thought they were set in too much store by they silly fairises. At the same time he would talk in such way to the children about the birds and wild flowers and creeping things as to make them feel that everything held a deep meaning in its life. So that, more than anyone else about the place, except Trystie, he was responsible for Kit's conviction that one way or another he had just got to find fairyland for himself. Kit slept right through that night when he went to bed without his tea, and was up and out of doors with the lark, which means by 5 o'clock in early May. We give our children an unusual amount of liberty, especially Kit. They must be quite punctual at school and meals, but Kit and Davy go to bed just when they are tired and get up when they please, which is always very early, play what games and choose what companions they like. Their mother would seldom be anxious about them for 2 reasons. First, because their appetites, whether for food, or bed, or playmates, were always healthy. Second, because Curdie, when relieved of his work with the sheep, used always to go everywhere with them. The only thing that they needed reminding about was school time. This duty Curdie took upon himself. School, though a sad puzzle to his wise head, was to him the one thing that must be rigidly obeyed. Somehow he always knew when it was time for them, Kit and Davy, to start. He would go halfway with them, but, funnily enough, never the whole way. The school is only about a mile from the farm, but Curdie, though he knew it must be, always disapproved of school, and thought half measures were quite good enough for it. On this particular morning, I say, Kit was up with the lark, and Curdie, of course, was up too. Kit had to see Jonas and tell him about the Swede and the old owl, because, he thought, now he was beginning to have some success, Jonas would trust him with the secret. The child found the old man with his flock just starting from the fold to go up to the downs, and so trotted along by his side and told his news. Though he often wanted to call Jonas, when he was grumpy, the thing he mustn't, the child was no more afraid of him than of adders or gypsies, stoats, or bully butcher broom. Kit had never learned to be afraid. I think it was because his happy smile made all creatures, man, snake or bird, feel what a deep spring of kindness and trust was always bubbling from the little heart. Jonas listened as though the tale were quite as important as Columbus's discovery of America. Then he made one decisive remark. That their Swede was one o' they Pigwidgeons, and that I'll swear to. You must look out, Master Kit, they don't never suspicion you can see 'em at it, or they'll have your eyes out. This was the first time Kit heard of the strange people who later made him their king. Kit begged to be told more about them. You'll find out in good time, Master Kit. But don't you play too much on that pipe o' yourn. It's screechy as does the mischief and screechy out of tune. When you've got the right sort of pipe and play it sweet and shrill, then you'll get the right sort of fairises. Pigwidgeons is, well, what you'd expect from things that like screechy. Birds don't except owls. Now I'll tell you the secret. But it's all in pieces, same as a flock of sheep. Looky here, now. You've got to pick 'em all up where you can find 'em, and put 'em together in your pipe. And you must get 'em one by one from the birds, the blackbirds and the starlings and the wheatears and the tits and the finches. And there's only one can tell you how to fold 'em together safe, so that they dances together when you turn 'em out on the downs, and that's the sweet nightingale. She's the queen of 'em, she is, and you'll always find her where she sings same as if she warn't never there, like. But they're all fairises when you come to call upon 'em. That's the way of it, Master Kit. Jonas, dearest, said Kit with such thankfulness and eagerness that he used this gentlest of kind words, how can they all get into the pipe, such a lot of them? Ah, that's the biggest part of the secret. How to chuck more into your pipe more'n it'll hold. You can do it all day long in fairyland and fetch out more nor ever you put in, like. So it must be a fairy pipe. You pipes into it what a little boy can, which ain't much, but more nor it can hold, and it comes out agey and shriller and sweeter, and such a powerful run of it that all the sheep stop cropping and chewing and tinkling their bells, and all the larks drop into their nesties, and if you walk away while you pipes, they all follers, same as that there Pied Piper I've heerd tell of, or that Orphus, liar and heathen though he was. And that's about the size of a fairy pipe. You come and take a cup of tea along of us, Master Kit, and I'll show you my pipe. It's a real recorder and don't he want no tabber. And I'll larn you, people have nearly forgotten about that wonderful kind of pipe called a recorder. Bird warbling used to be called recording, and this sort of instrument could give all the music of all the birds, and in such a way that, when the birds heard from it what they themselves could do, it quite surprised them to see how much heart and soul they had. You may be sure Kit went early enough to see Jonas at tea time. He took some of his mother's cakes for the children, and had the vaccinated baby on his knee and sang a little song of his own, and played with the bobtail pup, so that the poor baby stopped crying at once. Then old Jonas came in with his 2 tired dogs, none the less wise for being queer mongrels. Kit had to wait patiently till tea was over, so strong it was out of the big brown teapot, and such a lot of bread and jam the 7 children ate. And how they grabbed at the cakes. Before Jonas, their grandfather, fetched down from the top of the dresser his dusty old recorder. He hadn't touched it for 20 years, he said, and his hands, he was afeard, were too rheumaticky to finger the warbling out. But he managed to let Kit hear how exquisitely sweet its sounds were. Soon the boy could hear, mixed up, as it were, with the old folksong tunes, notes of the blackbird and of the starling imitating him, of the linnet and wheatear. And then, in the song of the sweet nightingale, he could hear the queen bird's thrilling and commanding music. Kit must have sat stock still with eyes fixed on the old grey shepherd and his red wrinkled neck and closed eyelids. I know just how they sat and looked. Then 1, 2, 3 big tears, Kit told me, trickled out from under the old eyelids. They came, I am sure, because his pipe recorded to him old sweetnesses in his life besides songs, old hopes, too, that would never die. Soon the old man put the pipe down on the table, and Kit stroked its black shiny body as he would a bird, tenderly, firmly, with no fear of frightening it away. Then Jonas let Kit try the recorder, but his fingers were only just big enough to reach the holes, and he could find only a few stray notes. But they were sweet enough to make the boy very happy, sweet enough indeed for Jonas to make him a promise. He was to come with him on Saturday when there was no school up onto the downs. After he had tried some new bells I had given the old man for some of the younger sheep, to learn the bells the use of their tongues, he said. Then, he went on, if they all behave, the lambs had not been long weaned, and this was to be the first time they were to rejoin the flock. We'll set down and I'll learn you how to make the pipe you want. Then Kit had to go. As he went Jonas called after him with a chuckle, mind they Pigwidgeons, Master Kit, and mind your eyes. It's screechy as does the mischief. End of this chapter.